All right, what's up everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some great topics for you guys. Before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you're someone new and click that notification bell to get my videos first. And also, once again, sorry for any bad audio or background noise. I am using a little bit of a different setup. So let's go ahead and get into this. And we're starting off with the huge demand for the Nintendo Switch OLED. Things are ramping up, especially in Japan, and that's where we're going to focus. Shout outs to industry analyst Mr. David Gibson over there in Japan. He had this to say about the demand of the Nintendo Switch OLED in Japan a couple weeks, about a week or so before launch, right? It's coming out pretty soon here. So here's what he had to say on Twitter. Nintendo Switch demand in Japan. It is a software appliance store. It's called Yodobashi Camera. It's like Best Buy, he says. Reports that demand is 5 to 7 times supply for the reservation lottery they are doing in the Nintendo Switch or for the Nintendo Switch OLED. That is really good. It shows that people are definitely gearing up for this Nintendo Switch OLED. It looks like it's going to be a huge launch if they're pretty much, selling out of whatever stock they got and people are waiting for the reserve stock for the lotteries and stuff like that that are going on. So very good there because Nintendo Switch sales have been dipping in Japan for the past couple weeks, but I think that's in anticipation of the Nintendo Switch OLED and what's going on there. Now, when this system was first announced, people were unsure on how they would react since it doesn't have a power bump and there is a price increase and there isn't a lot of different things they've done with it. I mean, yes, they do have the Nintendo Switch, OLED screen, which the OLED is very great. They also improved some of the memory, right? 64 gigabytes internal memory. The stand is better. You have a dock that's built in with the LAN port. So there are improvements to the system overall, but there isn't that power bump that some were expecting. So some were not very sure on how this system would do, but it does seem, at least at the launch or at the beginning, that it's going to have a very good launch in Japan. And if you're looking at what's been going on here in the United States, like the system has been doing extremely well with pre-orders. Anytime that there is an allotment of pre-orders, it sells out. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going in Europe and other parts, but I know that in Japan and in the US, things look very good for the Nintendo Switch OLED. So we'll see how it does when it launches. I think that it helps that it's launching with a big game with Metroid Dread on the Nintendo Switch, and just October in general for the Switch is going to be pretty good. There's a number of high profile and good games coming out in October, so it should be pretty fun to just see how everything goes with the system and how people take up to it, especially if you're playing handheld. I think that's where the system really shines. If you're someone who wants to play the games handheld, then yeah, it's built in, it's right there for you, because I play my Nintendo Switch on my OLED LG CX TV and it's absolutely incredible. I've stated this before in previous videos. I'll always say this: OLED to me is the best type of TV so far from when I have played on. I've played on a lot of different TVs. So yeah, I think that it's going to be pretty good for those who want a better or a really good handheld experience. And for those who maybe just want something new, if you have a launch model Switch and just want to upgrade to the newest thing, it's there for you as well. So what do you guys think about this strong start that it seems for the Nintendo Switch OLED in Japan? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. Shin Megami Tensei V. We've got more information on what's going down with this game, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it because I do see that, of course, within the circles of the core RPG fan base out there, people are excited for the game. Atlas is showing off a lot more of it. They're showing off different types of things, like each different world within the app has like these big bosses that you can take down. And there's different things. Like, it's really cool, right? It's obviously a very expansive and big game, and I'm happy that more people are getting interested in it than wouldn't have been interested in it. So that's the good thing. But I do want to let people know, because there is something that usually scares away people from Shin Megami Tensei games, and that is the difficulty. And Atlas has confirmed that not only at launch will there be 3 difficulty modes. You'll have a easy mode, you'll have a normal mode, and you'll also have a hard mode. But there will also be a downloadable, like, super easy mode that makes things even easier than before. So if you're someone who's always seen that Shin Megami Tensei games can be intimidating because of the difficulty, which, yeah, some of them are really hard. It's known for its difficulty within the RPG realm. You can rest assured that you'll be able to play this game. And that's like the main message that I want to put together with this segment is that, hey, don't be afraid of Shin Megami Tensei because it's too hard or because you heard about Nocturne or you've heard about the game just being brutal and like the grinding and stuff like that. With these easy modes, you're not going to be able to do that, or you're not going to have to do that, more like it. So it'll be a good thing for players to hop in, especially if you're interested in the characters or you're interested in the world and you want to play, but you don't want to spend all that time having to grind and having to level up and having to do advanced battle tactics and strategies, especially with a game that looks like this. Considering how appealing it looks on the Nintendo Switch, I think that this is going to be a really big thing for Shin Megami Tensei to take the next step to get into more people's hands. So I love that Atlus did confirm not only that there's going to be an expansive world and all sorts of cool different demons and just more stuff within the game. Like if you check out Gematsu, they have a huge update. If you look up Shin Megami Tensei, it's on the Switch page there, huge update. But I don't want any like spoilers or anything, so I'm not going to go over all that, but just know that this is going to be a massive type of game. So if you're a hardcore RPG fan out there, rest assured everything is going to be solid on there. If you're a newcomer and you just want to get in and see the characters and just play the game and see how it is, and you have like a passing interest in RPGs but you're not really the hardest core of RPG gamer out there, okay, well, there's modes for you. You're going to be able to play this game no problem and get through it and not have it absorb your whole life like other hardcore SMT nuts want. So that's the cool thing about this. So I'm very excited that they actually put in the easy modes from the very beginning, right? So you have the easy mode from the very beginning, or if you want the hard mode, you can get that there. And then also, once again, the free DLC. So that will be in there too. So very good stuff from Atlus and Sega, making sure that that makes it in when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei V on the Nintendo Switch. So what are your thoughts with everything that we discussed here when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys, we've got some more updates on Metroid Dread. And once again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, this is going to be a Game of the Year contender in my opinion. We've got some new previews that are going up and also video of the Nintendo Switch OLED in action with the game. And of course, like I said before at the beginning, the Nintendo Switch OLED is just a beautiful screen. It makes the games really pop with vibrancy and color, so it does look very good here. There was a hands-on event where press got to go and play the game. 90 minutes, I think, of footage. There was Game Explain was there. I think there was more like Kotaku or something like that. There was other outlets that were there, and I'm not going to go over everything because you guys can check out their previews, but it pretty much confirms what I've been saying about the game, that it's fantastic. There was nothing but positive things said about Metroid Dread on the Nintendo Switch, which is exactly what you want to hear. You want to see when the previews come up that it's just doing absolutely amazing in terms of it. It's fluid, it's fun, it's fast, and the scope of the game is a lot larger than people were trying to give it credit for. I had people coming to my stream telling me, oh, well, this might be a short game. It might be really tiny compared because, like, you know, we don't know about things. Rest assured, it looks like the map is going to be gigantic. There's going to be tons of areas to go to, tons of locations, tons of power-ups, so many different things to kind of explore within this game and go about with it. So if you were expecting or if you were thinking this was going to be some type of short type of game and not be a fully featured game worth that $60, it seems to me, based off of the previews here, that that is not going to be the case, and things are going to be a lot better than maybe what some expected. So I'm excited about that, and to be honest, I'm just excited to see the hype for Metroid come back. We're starting to get some Japanese commercials kind of thrown into the mix here. We're obviously seeing the US commercials as well. Those are really good. Nintendo is marketing the heck out of the game when it comes to advertisements on Google scroll ads. You also have Instagram that they're doing advertising on. There's a huge billboard that we talked about in Mexico that was done recently. So Nintendo worldwide, no matter what type of device you're watching on or where you're at, it seems like Metroid Dread is there. There was a great Nintendo, the power of Dread and all that during the Nintendo Direct. That was a pretty cool to show that, which they were mindful of spoilers as well. Nothing too crazy there, reminding people to say, hey, go to the Metroid Dread report. So they've got everything lined up for Metroid Dread to be successful, and I think that this will be a successful game. If it's not, it won't be because of Nintendo, and it won't be because of the quality of the game. Based off of the previews and based off of the marketing that I'm seeing, it's like ready to take that next step. In my opinion, I think Metroid is ready to take that next next step that it needs to take, in my opinion, that it needs to take, especially with the Switch system. So I'm excited to see how everything works out with Metroid Dread. But yeah, man, next week it's happening. It is here next week. Finally, Metroid Dread gets into the hands, and of course with the Nintendo Switch OLED, so it should be a lot of fun. But what are your thoughts, guys, on all these different topics that we discussed here, from the Nintendo Switch OLED sales, in terms of how things are going with the demand in Japan, Shin Megami Tensei, Metroid Dread? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. I've got a membership page. Go ahead and become a member if you do want to get access to some cool perks, rewards, and benefits and Discord access. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you didn't already do so. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.